Aces on the Commissioner's Cup victory. Mr. D was real happy about that yesterday. Obviously, that's pretty cool to have, another team that's right here connected to us, achieving things like that. And we're obviously excited to support them. We have a lot of players that, know some people over there, and so that's a good thing for Vegas. So we're excited for them. How we doing? Second day in pads?
Yeah.
You guys ready?
You got pads for us?
Oh, man, I don't know if you guys would be able to do that. It was hot yesterday.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what were your first impressions of you guys' first day of pads?
About the same as they almost always are. It's the first time in months that they've had to carry them, and legs get a little heavy as the day goes on, which is this, phase of the year where you're trying to callus the body so you can kind of, withstand the grind of the season. And so many things showed up yesterday just from an individual technique perspective that we need to correct and fix and do better. The most fundamental aspects of our game are blocking, defeating a block. And literally, those are the things we're really going to try to focus on. We coached that yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. There's not a lot of new stuff going in today. We're going to try to, go back to some of the things we did yesterday and hopefully see some progress, because our big thing is we don't get many days like this, where we get to redo a bunch of things we did yesterday without the urgency of adding a bunch of new installation and talking about an opponent and all those things that you have to do during the regular season. So we don't get many opportunities to do this. So today's a great opportunity for us to make progress individually, which obviously then will collectively make us better. So a lot of technique things, fundamental aspects of the game that we haven't been able to do, that we're able to do for the first time, and now we have a shot to improve them.
Josh, what's your first impression? So just in terms of conditioning, physical strength, and overall appearance of Josh Jacobs through the start of training?
Yeah, once the reps, you can see him. He's taking a lot of reps in there and trying to work, as a lot of guys are, is work themselves into, ultimately playing condition. But Josh got himself ready to go. He rehabbed hard, in the off season and got ready to, participate at the beginning of camp, which he did a great job of that. And he was in condition when we reported, like the rest of our team was, and continued to grind away through the basics. And again, when you miss reps in the off season, part of this period for you is acclimating to what's your job and hearing the call in the huddle and being able to go out there and play fast, And so there's a handful of guys that are, along with the rookies, that are kind of getting used to that at the same time that they're going through the conditioning process too. So Josh is, he's working real hard and pleased with what he's trying to do.
Based off what, when you after the draft, you said this is going to be a competition for all units.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't miss OTAs when he was in the building doing something.
Yeah.
Was there one concern in which he squashed that during this first
Squashed what? What do you mean?
in your mind coming into training camp, like you were kind of worried or thinking that that you're pleasantly surprised with?
No, nothing.
Coach, you and Dave obviously were really close, and when you started to build this, and I'm sure there may be future moves to make, has it been as seamless as you thought it was with him in terms of the process as you work together with agreements, disagreements? I mean, how's the relationship gone when we first saw you guys?
Yeah. We've known each other for a long time. That's one part of it. But I think we've also earned the respect and trust of the other person. And in this kind of a situation, to me, the best thing, we can do is just really be honest with one another. And the trust factor for me, is the biggest part, because he can say something to me that maybe I didn't think of it, or maybe I don't even agree with it. And that's what we want to do, because if we're both sitting there saying the same thing every day, we're not going to get the best from each other. So it's been really good. He's a forward thinker. He's thinking about things that, maybe I'm not thinking about, and vice versa. And then we have communication daily, multiple times. We literally just got done meeting with one another now. So just trust him, to the end, and really believe in what he's doing. He's got an agenda every day with his personnel, staff and the scouts that are here, and trying to grow that side of it while we're trying to work on what we're doing on the football field, and then constantly talking about the roster and what we can do to try to make it the best we can make it. So really have a great deal of trust and respect for him. Like I said, our relationship goes back a long way, but more importantly, I think it's going to evolve now in this new role that we're both in, and look forward to that.
Josh, I know there's a lot of competition for roster spots, roles, starting jobs, but in particular that right tackle position, it seems like Brandon Parker and Alex Leatherwood are sort of trading that off with first team reps. Where do you see that competition, and is there a timeline that you would like to see for one guy to maybe step it up and claim it?
Yeah. It's too early to sit here and try to say where it's at. But there's multiple guys in there that are competing. They know that. They all know it. We're going to try to play the best 11 guys on every snap. It's the right thing to do. It's the best thing for the team, and if we keep putting the best 11 out there, regardless of, how young, old, whatever, it doesn't matter about that. It just, if we put the best 11 out there, I think everybody respects the fact that we're trying to win. Everybody's going to get opportunities. We had, Jermaine's doing the same thing, Thayer's doing the same thing, so we got a lot of people that are rotating in there on the right side. We got a lot of people that are playing a lot of spots too, which, like I said, it's not just one spot on the line. We're going to try to find the best 5 linemen, and we're going to try to find the best 11 to put out there in every play in each unit. So, I think they all have a great mindset. Everybody's working. We told them there are no like, well, this is this and this is that. I mean, we have periods where we start and those guys aren't in there, so there's a lot of competition. I think it makes them all better. They've embraced it, which is really what we want from our team, and we'll look forward to letting it play out on the field. They'll determine it. They'll determine it.
We haven't seen Zamir White out there for a few days. Is there any long-term concern there?
No, he's doing everything he can to get back out there as soon as possible, and the hope would be that it's not too much longer, but we'll make sure we're smart about all those guys. There's a handful of them that haven't been able to be out there for a couple days, and they're all working extremely hard right now to try to get back as soon as possible.
In your experience, what's the biggest obstacle for rookie offensive linemen, and how is Dylan coming along so far?
Offensive lineman?
Yeah.
I'd say the physicality part of it they're used to. There's a different speed sometimes for them to, get acclimated to relative to the things moving in front of them and the games and the twists and the stunts, how fast linebackers fill into a gap. I mean, it's just a different, tempo at times. And a lot of our young guys saw that yesterday. There was a little bit of a different speed that, at first you're kind of thinking it's going to be one thing, and then it happens just a split second quicker than you imagine. So, I think a lot of those guys getting acclimated to just the speed of the game, the tempo that every play happens at is going to be important for them. And there's no better way to do it than to let them have an opportunity in pads to experience that from the other side of the ball. So I think both sides, learned that and realized that yesterday a little bit.
How's Dylan doing? Dylan Parham, how's he coming along so far?
Good. Dylan works hard. We have those handful of rookie offensive linemen. They're kind of this band of brothers. They they come in. They're in the meeting room together, and really they have the night meeting when the veterans are out. You have the little extra time with the rookies, and they're really pouring into the scheme, pouring into the fundamental aspects of what we're asking them to do. And they're getting better, day by day, little by little, and that's all we can ask of them. They got a great approach and great mindset.
I know this offseason you've talked a lot about coming in and you guys creating your own identity. Just from the football things aside, what do you think how the team is coming out just from a personality standpoint, just in terms of meshing with each other?
I really enjoy this group. It's ultimately their culture, and it's ultimately their team. And what we do and how we do it, they're going to define it. We try to set an expectation and a standard of what we're looking for, but ultimately they're going to do it, and they hold one another accountable to that standard. And they have a lot of fun doing it. I think this game is really, it's a difficult game, but it's more difficult when you don't like the guys you're doing it with, you know, and I don't see that at all. You know, I really think this group enjoys being around one another. They have fun coming to work. We laugh. I know you might not think that, but we do. We laugh, and you know, there's things that happen during the course of the day where, you know, you keep it lighthearted a little bit, and the rookies have done a decent job of trying to entertain us at times. But, you know, this is a group that's developing their own identity, you know, and that's not for me to say, you know, exactly how that's going to go. I think they'll determine that. We got great leadership on the football team on all sides of the ball. And like I said, they come to work every day with a great mindset and attitude, and they're looking forward to the next day of work.
The last couple of years with Cam and then Mac in New England, you're kind of starting at ground zero with two starting quarterbacks. Did that kind of help a little bit, you know, coming here and sort of having to teach a new offense to a new quarterback and really an entire new roster?
It's you know, it's interesting that kind of was the way it worked. So I do have some element of, you know, there was a new player the last few years, and now we have a new group, you know, this year to teach and go over. But, you know, we've gone through the same process, you know, of, you know, trying to evaluate how we do things, how do we coach it, you know, how can we make it better, how can we make it easier to learn and digest, you know, how do we practice it better on the field. Is there a different way to watch film that would make it better or more efficient for our players? We've done that each year that I've been in the league, and we're trying to do that now as a team. You know, some things we watch together, some things we separate and watch, you know, individually. But, you know, it's just going back through the communication process and trying to make sure that the questions keep coming. You know, that's the big part of this year is just don't stop asking. If you're not 100% sure, you know, keep telling us that we need to find a different way to communicate it. But I think we've gotten off to a good start relative to the way we're trying to present things. And there's definitely been an element of, okay, hey, slow it down, you know what I mean, for us as a staff, because we do have a little bit of extra time, you know. And at the end of the day, the beginning of the season is going to be wherever we're at, we feel good like we can go out there and run it at a competitive level. That's what we're going to use. We're not going to use everything. You know, it's impossible. So try to get good at the fundamentals and the things we're going to need to compete and do that early in the season, and then we'll grow as the season goes on.
Ed, thank you.
We're gonna touch on Kenyon.
Say it again.
Kenyon after this. Can you talk about what you see?
KD?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, jumps in there, man. Him and JJ both are taking a lot of reps and really getting acclimated. Again, missed the opportunity in the spring to really get in the huddle, hear the communication, get the calls, and do all those things. But really like the way he's working. Good attitude, good guy. You know, and obviously this guy's, you know, he's done a lot of different things, in this league and for this team in specific. So just looking forward to continue to build with him and grow with him. Got a competitive room that they all feed off one another. They all help one another, which is great. But you know, enjoying Kenyon.
We'll do a few more. We'll go to Sean, Adam, and then Paul. Coach, back in New England, what did you see from?
I skipped you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Q. Go ahead, Q.
At this stage, would you consider it more teaching not to lose with the guys than it is more coaching to win games right now?
When you say that, what do you mean?
Like, are you guys doing more teaching as, hey, you know, more discipline type stuff right now just to get the fundamentals locked in as opposed to how you want to run things?
That's a trick question. Can we skip Q? Go to no. I think here it's the same.
Okay.
You can't win until you learn how to not lose.
Right.
That's at the end of the day. That's it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, if we fumble the ball on the ground, we're going to lose. You know, so we can't win. And so, to me, you don't do one without the other. So, coaching our team and getting them to understand that if we commit a bunch of penalties, if we turn the ball over, you know, more than other teams do, we're not going to win. And so we have to learn how to not put ourselves in those positions, and those are the most important fundamentals that we can do, you know, in terms of the big picture is don't hurt yourself. You know, make the other team do it. You know, make the other team earn it every single play, every single quarter, every single game. And until any team learns how to do that, you're giving the other team too much of an advantage too often. And so for our players, I think we understand it. We'll see. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but I think they're getting the idea of, Lester Cotton, just tell you a funny story, but, Lester Cotton jumped off sides right at the beginning of the one-on-one period yesterday, and he wasn't even going. The other guy was going. So Lester, he just took off and, did a lap, right? And he comes back and he looks at me and he goes, "I'm tired, boss." And then he has to go in there and do a rep. And then he comes out of the rep and I said, "How was that?" And he goes, I don't want to run no more laps. And it's starting to sink in that there's a penalty, there's a cost to a mistake that you can prevent, and whether it's the ball on the ground, you saw, a couple balls on the ground yesterday, which is a couple too many. If that happens in a football game, we put the ball on the ground, it's hard to just say we're trying to coach to win, You have to learn how to not lose the game, and then you have a shot to win. And a lot of games in our league are lost, with mistakes and errors. And so I think they're one and the same. I really do.
Coach, obviously, Carmen Priscilla got his start in NFL with you all in the Patriots. What did you see over those years with them, working together up there that made you want to bring him here, and then how has he performed? So
Yeah, really works hard. He's a guy that he dove in at the ground level, which I loved. He was an offensive line coach, in college football, and came to us, and he was at the bottom of the totem pole and breaking film down and learning a brand new language after many years of doing it a different way. And that's a humbling experience, especially when I did it when I was 23 years old. He did it when he was in his mid 40s, and so there's an element of, a sacrifice there. And he had an opportunity to learn from Dante for a year in New England, and then really has just grown each year that he's had that opportunity. And his mindset is the same. He doesn't think he has all the answers. Neither do I. And we're trying to grow and improve each day and each year. And that's what I see from him and Cam. We were fortunate. I knew Cam before I got here, and Cam and Carmen do a really good job of working off one another and working and pushing our offensive line group as a whole. So pleased with that. And again, we're just scratching the surface with some of our guys that haven't done it as many years as maybe somebody else has, and that's okay. We wanted that. We didn't want everybody to be 25 years in and all that. We want to have a good blend, and those two guys are growing, developing, and they're doing a good job.
Josh, Denzel Perriman obviously has a certain air about him,
Yep.
When he's out there. How would you describe his leadership? And also, Teamer and Clee Farrell have come out of practice the past couple of days. What are they dealing with? How are they doing right now?
Yeah. Clee and team, I don't think we're talking about something long term, but, just working through that, and hopefully they'll be out there as soon as they can. I know both of them are working hard, in terms of treating and all that stuff. But Denzel, he brings a lot of juice every day. And you can tell when he comes in there, he's got that booming voice, and everybody knows when he talks, it's usually something important. He's very confident. He keeps it lighthearted, but he's serious about the game of football. And I don't know many people that work like he does. We have a lot of guys in that category, but he really brings it every day. And he works hard. He's trying to work hard to get better at things that maybe he hasn't done as much of, which I love about him, and we have a handful of guys that are doing that and trying to expand what they've done in the past and man coverage or, whatever it might be, to try to improve their role and improve our team. But pushes his teammates, holds them accountable, leads the same way every single day, very consistent presence in our building. Doesn't go up and down and ride a roller coaster, no doubt about it. If there's any issue, you can be sure that Denzel will bring it to my attention, as soon as possible. And if you go to Denzel with something that we need from the team, he'll get it done. He's got the respect of the entire locker room. Really enjoy being with him every day.
one more, Adam.
You mentioned Lester Cotton a minute ago, kind of the story about the laps. He's been a guy that's just kind of grinded. I know you haven't been here.
Yep.
What do you know that he's done to kind of get to that next level where he's starting to maybe gain the trust?
I wasn't here with him, so I've heard, different things, obviously, but, I'm using my experience and my exposure to him now to really form, our evaluation and our opinions of everybody here. And Lester has just come in and put his head down. And, the Lester Cotton that I know from this season, from this off season and now going into training camp, he just works hard. He's been in condition. He's gotten stronger. He did a tremendous job in our off-season program. He's been vocal. He's led by example and with his voice. He's brought others along with him. And so he's earning the opportunities that he's getting. And again, we'll see where that goes. Lester knows he's competing just like everybody else is. But really excited for, the growth that I've seen in him and the growth that I've heard from people that were with him before that is happening right in front of our eyes. But, Lester enjoyed yesterday. That's his type of day.